Hey you guys, this is Jess with Sourceful Journey back with another video. So today I wanted to focus on the reason why one should just be able to trust the unknown and just know that, God is behind it all. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and just jump right in. So with regards to trusting the unknown, I honestly feel like that is something that's pretty hard to do in reference to just being a human being in general. Sadly enough, it's one of those things because we're so used to instant gratification that we fail to realize that sometimes, understanding that our timing is different from God's is something that we have to accept. No matter how much we try to throw it off, it's something that is just simply like what it is. I'll use myself as an example. I was one for quite some time that felt like if it was something that I truly wanted, I went for it. And oftentimes, on top of that, I would try to expedite the process. Now, in doing so, I more than likely would be able to get the results that I wanted, but then in some way or another, something else will follow. So my point that I'm trying to make for you guys is that sometimes just simply stepping back and truly allowing God to be God is usually the best way to go, and you'll see the fruits that come from it. I can think of the number of times where, I maybe wanted to go on a particular trip, or maybe I had a certain event that I wanted to have put together, and everything else would seem to be going well, but then there's a wrench that's thrown into the equation, and it throws everything off. Still was able to move forward with the process, but again, you're gonna have some hiccups along the way. And I found that trying to expedite it beyond what God truly wanted it to be was the reason behind those hiccups. Now, versus the time when I've actually, took a step back and allowed God to be God in the process, those particular scenarios actually ran a bit smoother compared to the others that I just mentioned. I say all this to say, to be able to just trust the process and allow God to be God is easier said than done, that's for sure. But the reality in it all is that it truly can be done. Another funny thing I noticed that when I actually would put together my vision board or write out what my goals are, things I'd like to accomplish for the year or years to come for that matter, I found it that once I've done that and I left it alone, that was really when things started to come to fruition when I least expected it. I'll give you an example. In reference to my current position with the current establishment that I actually work for, what's interesting is because initially when I had wanted to pursue this company, I didn't think anything else of it. I was like, I knew it was something that I would love to do, but also at the same time, I thought of it as just a dream. I was like, oh, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Life goes on, right? And then you just pursue something else. So, make a long story short, lo and behold, I didn't realize that literally a year later, I'll be given an opportunity to pursue a role here with the establishment. It's kind of funny because I spoke with other individuals who work within this establishment as well. And they too are, avid believers in the notion of claiming it and receiving it, That's as the Christians would say, claim it and receive it. And, they do the whole thing with the vision boards and writing it out and, let it be. A lot of people call it manifestations. Christians call it claim and receive it, or, declaring it. Again, we shouldn't get so hooked on terminology and just understand that at the end of the day, it all ties into the same action itself. that is being done. So I say all that. Sorry, you guys, I was waving at somebody. I say all that to say, it worked. It worked. And they too said that this was something that was a dream of theirs. And then lo and behold, they was actually given an opportunity to take on a role there at the current establishment also. I think that's very telling within itself because, again, when you think about it, this was a perfect example of how one truly took a step back and allowed God and the spiritual team to do what they do best. And not try to expedite the process, not try to, force the results, if you will. I'm actually glad that I did pursue the opportunity, and now come to think of it, I would encourage you guys to think about in terms of your own experiences as well. Think about the very things that you've acquired over time, right? Whether it may be places, actual tangible items, maybe a new job, as examples. Think about it. Prior to you acquiring those various pieces, were any of those pieces at any point previously something that you wished for? Chances are about 99.99% chance it may be just that. It may have been something you wished on and you may have forgotten about. Or you kind of wished on in passing and didn't think too much else about it thereafter. I know I can say from my end, that's exactly what happened. And I'm forever grateful and thankful for it. So what are you guys' thoughts about that? Don't forget to leave your comments in the comment section below, or continue to send responses over on my other platforms. An email is just as welcome. Be interested to hear you guys' stories in reference to your thoughts about the notion of just claiming it and receiving it, and really, again, trusting the process, just knowing that, our time is different from God's time. Granted, it's good to be able to trust God in reference to what he does, and as well as the spiritual team. But you also want to still put in some level of action as well. So let's not forget that. But yeah, with all that being said, it'd be interesting to hear your stories as well. So continue to send those details over. Consultations are still open for this week. As I mentioned before, Thursday and Friday. I will not be taking any appointments for that because I am working on another side project. But in the meantime, if there is any other spots available on the calendar that does speak to you, definitely don't hesitate to take advantage of it. You can also send me your details, and I can also pencil you in if you want to schedule for a future date. So yeah, with that being said, as always, I'm definitely sending you guys with love and light, and I will see you in the next video.